All right, here we go. Are you guys, you ready for this? 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans? Everywhere. I really don't care about the rest of the SEC right now. They can all, kiss my ass is what I'm going to say to that. Hang on. Let's crack open the beer ski. There we go. All right. Hope you guys are doing well. I think, yeah. I hope you guys are doing great. I'm going to try and finish off these shiners one of these days. Surprised I'm even touching this stuff tonight, considering how I got kind of drunk last night. I'm not going to lie about it. I got a little hammered. I don't do that very often. But it was, hey, you know what? Hung out with the neighbors, had a good night. I knew tonight was going to be problematic, and you know what? It is what it is. Ouch, says Hama Kavula. Or stop pinching your nipples. I don't know what your issue is. A lot to talk about. Look, at the end of the day, I don't think anybody really thought Arkansas had a chance in this game. I don't think anybody thought Arkansas was gonna pull this thing off. I really thought they would cover the spread, especially without their star tight end on the field. The Franks motivation. I thought that might play a little bit of a factor, and it just clearly did not. Florida's. It's similar to the A&M game where they're playing for a hell of a lot more right now than Arkansas. I mean, that's what this is. This is Florida. Get my camera situated perfectly here. Florida is so you can see my messy mop top I got going on. I'm rocking the Luke Skywalker tonight. Yeah, they're playing for a lot more than Arkansas is right now, and they're not rebuilding. They had their head coach on the field. They had everyone on their staff where they need to be. Right. This was a game that they weren't going to overlook. This isn't post-Georgia Arkansas, like the following week. They know what they're in for. No one else. You had other teams underestimate Arkansas this year. And they paid the price. They paid the iron price. And they got smoked. Or not smoked, but they lost. Florida they weren't going to do that. There's too much on the line. Dan Mullen is a good coach, but he is an asshole. He's an asshole. And let me tell you why I'm look, it's obvious if you finished that game, for those of you who had the stomach to watch the whole thing, throwing the ball, what was the lead? Like 30 points? I don't care if it was your backup. They still had starters out on the field. I spotted at least one or two, maybe more. First off, that's kind of a dick move, but whatever. But then you're throwing the ball, little more than 2 minutes left to go in the game. You're throwing the football. We're not talking backwards pass. We're not talking. They were aggressively trying to. He was going to score again, and this isn't anything new with him. He is an asshole, and I've said this for years. I've never liked that guy. He's a great coach. One of the best. When it comes to putting together quarterbacks, I really don't know if there's anyone better that's currently a head coach in Power 5 football. I don't know if there's anyone better at developing quarterbacks. He's great. That offense is moving. I think their defense is highly suspect. Arkansas shot themselves in the foot a lot tonight. Too many 3rd and longs. Even the Arkansas struggles on 3rd and 5. What's their record? What's their look on the year on 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15? What are the odds that they're going to convert? It's not super high. They already just struggle anyways on 3rd down. My first immediate takeaway was I was a little surprised at Treylon Burks not being more involved. 3 catches for 47 yards. That was the first thing. Part of it, though, was the pass blocking tonight was atrocious. Florida, look, that's what they do. They come after you. They're gonna pin their ears back, and they're going after your quarterback. That's what they do, and they're pretty good at it. Grantham is a good defensive coordinator. He's a decent defensive coordinator. I don't know what they're paying him. I think they're paying him too much. They didn't get – did Arkansas – yeah, Arkansas did turn the ball over once. Rakeem Boyd fumbled the football. But my biggest – I think they did a good job of taking Burks out of the game. That's the difference. Even though overall defensively, I think I don't even think they're a middle of the pack defense. I think they're like middle of the pack towards the bottom of the middle of the pack. I mean, Arkansas's offense, who is starting to get things figured out, these guys still give up points. They give up big plays. I told you guys this all last week. They give up big plays, and look what happened. Arkansas's, I think this is the most points they've scored all year. I think it's the most amount of yards all year. That doesn't surprise me. I felt like they would have success. Pass blocking, though, was just terrible. I mean, at the end of the day, line of scrimmage play was just awful. It was just not good, as far as the pass blocking goes. I was surprised at how much what Arkansas ended with two sacks tonight. I was going to be happy with one because they don't give up sacks. Trask coming into this game had only been sacked 5 times. You got 2 tonight. I'm impressed with that. Eric Gregory is coming along. We can't forget that guy's a redshirt freshman. Think about the talent you're getting back. Not here. I say this a lot. I don't mean to sound like I'm defending Chad Morris. You guys know how I feel about Chad Morris. The guy was terrible as head coach. That is so obvious. My 8 and 6-year-old are aware that Chad Morris was a terrible head coach. But he did leave behind some pretty decent playmakers. Jalen Catalon, Bumper Poole, and then Eric Gregory. Dorian Gerald, who did make an appearance tonight, and actually, if you go back and watch, he actually got some push, damn near got to the quarterback. But Dorian Gerald was a top 3 JUCO defensive end. Rakeem, of course, Traylon transferred here, and then Traylon Berg, so on and so forth. I mean, you guys know Mike Woods. By the way, Mike Woods, what a night for him. A career night on only 2 catches. 2 catches, 129 yards. That's almost 65 yards average per reception and 2 touchdowns with an 82-yard catch. That's incredible, or reception, rather. Really impressed by that. All right, so you guys do me a favor. We're going to continue here. We're going to keep going. Let me swig this beer. Let me get this. Let me just once it hits the lips. I'm gonna crack open this bad boy too. We didn't win. I kind of thought I would only make this a thing that, or if Arkansas had covered, I was going to smoke this. I'm smoking it. It's just a cigar for anyone who's like, oh my God, what are you doing on live stream, Ty? Are you trying to get high on? No, I don't do that. All right? Let's do this. Actually, I need to heat up the tip before I try to. So, Arkansas, for any of you I enjoy a stogie every now and then. This is a good idea. You just heat up the tip a little bit. Just the tip. Just get her all nice and warm there. Oh yeah, baby. Heat it up. You want it to get you want color there, right? You want it to turn color. You want a little red there. See that? Any of you who are like, you know what? I found a place in Fayetteville that sells, their cigars. Wow. Here we go. Okay. Get some more. That's what we do here on the PTN. I would like some scotch to go with this, though. Nothing wrong against Shiner. So, Arkansas tonight, not surprising. Not surprising that they gave up the yards and the points. Not surprising the pass blocking was what it was. But defensively, I did not think they would look as bad as they did. Again, you're talking about a star tight end. This guy's out of the game. Pitts is out. This is a first-round tight end. This is a possible top 10 draft pick. He might fall off a little bit. I don't know, but he was out because of a head injury, which makes you wonder how severe that was against Georgia that he suffered. That was like in the first half. So, it was a little bit surprising. Gaps in coverage. Hudson got exposed a little bit tonight as well. Brooks did as well. There was that first touchdown. Brooks, I thought it was Hudson at first glance that missed that got mixed up on the coverage. It was actually Brooks, and I think it was the slot receiver just snuck in between the coverage and got the 6, got the tutty. So that's disappointing that they had that happen quite a bit. But the crazier part about tonight is that there were times when Arkansas's coverage was on point, and Florida still caught the ball. But it seemed like most of their throws into the end zone were wide open throws, right? Most of their throws were wide open into the end zone. And I'm going to attribute that, and we've already kind of hit on that. We talked about that on the Facebook halftime show over on the Hog Talk Facebook page. I think a lot of that is Barry Odom not being in the box, Barry Odom not being upstairs, Barry Odom having to cover everything. Now he's responsible for the whole kit and caboodle, not just the defense. He can't focus solely on the defense. That's an issue. If you noticed, there was no adjustment. It didn't look like anything changed until Florida. I mean, they did kind of pump the gas a little bit. Dan Mullens is still an asshole. Puff the cigar. Dan Mullens is still an asshole. Was not thrilled. It's just I hate that. It's like when you're playing NCAA 14 with a nephew or a cousin when you were younger. I shouldn't say NCAA 14. Madden, whatever, and like they've clearly got like this huge lead and they just keep throwing the ball. It's like the same thing. Only it makes me more angry because this is real life when you're trying to run the score up, bro. You've already got like a 30-point. You got this huge lead. What the hell are you doing? I don't know. It is what it is. I get it. Florida wants to show out. They want to show off. Hey, look at this offense. KJ Jefferson, how about him? I've already had people in our Discord, and I think someone in chat said that he's slow. Well, he's not Malik Hornsby. Whoa. Am I still alive? What was that? Whoa, they heard me talking. Uh-oh. Sam Pittman. Forgive me, Lord. Forgive me for talking bad about your Hogs. What was that? Why did my light go out? Hang on. Can I turn it back on? There we go. That was wild. They heard me. It was the hog god. Oh, my lights. Whatever. Funny Bib says, stop hating. Man, it's my job to point out the obvious. I'm sorry. Not hating, just pointing it out. Calling it like it is. That's what I do. But KJ, nice touchdown there at the end. It was good to see him come in and get some playing time. I said before, if we get to see these backups come in and play, it's more than likely going to be a situation where Arkansas is getting absolutely thumped. And that's what happened. Arkansas is getting thumped. And KJ comes in. I thought he did pretty well. I'd like to have seen him in earlier. I mean, I understand keeping Franks out there to get those scores, to get some points, but KJ did a good job. I thought KJ came in. That was a nice run. So, let's go over the game really quick. Let's take a look. Let's go down the numbers. Let's go down the numbers, everybody. So, they were 9 of 12 on third down. And when they had a fourth down, well, they only went for it twice. For some reason, I thought they went for it way more than that, but they went for it twice. Arkansas just couldn't get off the field. 593 yards of offense. Look, last week they put up 570 against Georgia. So it's not surprising that that they put up a whole lot of yards. Arkansas, again, their best game offensively, 458 yards, 35. This is why I don't think, I mean, are they a playoff team? I don't know. It depends on how the rest of the field looks. Who's better, them or A&M? I think Florida's offense is really good. They might be better on offense than Bama. I don't know. Bama's really good too. Florida did lose to A&M though, so you do have that. You have to factor that in when we're talking about who's already played each other, and if they both win out. If A&M starts to dip and they don't look as good the rest of the year like they have up until this week, of course they were postponed this week, and that also matters. When are they going to play these games? You're already looking at the 12th and now the 19th. They're going to extend the season out to play those makeup games. If they have to postpone another game, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you make that up. And then we're talking about the SEC championship. It comes down to who's played the most games with the most wins with the fewest losses at that point, right? Isn't that how you do that? So, or when you're talking about factoring that in for the playoffs, anyways, not the SEC championship. Florida should be in no matter what. Florida is clearly, I think they're the second best team. What they did tonight just assured me without their star tight end. I think they had some other injuries as well on defense, but to me they're the second best team. I think they are. I know A&M won that game, straight up, but 27 of 38 is what Florida did overall. Trask was 23 of 29, 356 yards, 6 passing touchdowns. I mean, what a night. What a night for them. 385 total passing yards, but Trask had 356 of that. Let's try to go down here. They managed over 200 yards rushing. Arkansas's run defense is so problematic. They've got to get that figured out. Their north-south run game or run defense is atrocious. It is not good. They've got a lot of issues to deal with there. I don't know now they're not giving up like big 15, 20-yard runs, but they give up 7, they give up 8, they give up 6, they give up 5 on a play that should have been stopped at the line of scrimmage because Marshall's pushed the center or guard back into the play. Oh, they've got him. Nope. Pulls out. Now either that's because the running back changes lanes and you're trying to stunt to that side where he just runs where the DN was supposed to be or the other tackle, and there's no one there to clog the hole. Poole and Morgan are great, level 2 cover guys. They're great at getting open field tacklers. I think they're probably 2 of the best in the SEC as far as being just open field tacklers. And you have Jalen Catalon. Did you see the nuke he dropped in the second half on that Florida Gator? Oh, my gosh, I felt sorry for that guy. I mean, he dropped a nuke right on that dude's face. Smacked him around. Well, didn't smack him around. He just laid down the lumber. That's what he does, man. Every game is good for 1 or 2 of those. He's so physical. But there's something going on with this north-south run game, and I can't figure it out. Probably some of it has to do with the fact that we see them run a lot of 3 fronts up front. They love to run 3. They like to bring 3 or 4 every down. They'll bring either someone else from the outside, or they'll rush a linebacker, or they'll just play with a 4 front. But most of the time this year, we've seen them run a lot of 3 front. Odom wants to run the 4-2-5. That needs to be. He wants that. I think he wants that to be their base defense. They can't do it. You know why? You've got individuals. My dad, actually, I don't know if RQ56 is in chat or not, but he brought up a really good point. You have 2 or 3 really high-level players on defense, but I feel like the rest of this defense is full of filler. Guys that are just contributors. They're not really playmakers. They might have a decent play every 10th snap or every 3rd or 4th series, but they're mostly just role guys. Whereas you've got Catalon, who I'm telling you, he looks like an All-American in my opinion. I think he had 1 busted play in coverage, or at least that's what I think someone said in our Discord. I think he made 1 mistake tonight. The guy can't play perfect, and we always want to point out the one bad thing that somebody does and not talk about the constant good. Catalon is such a problem. I think Bumper Poole, I don't know if he's a difference maker like Catalon, but he's a playmaker. Morgan's a playmaker. I think Mo Brown, is a pretty decent corner. Clark is a contributor. I'm not sold on him being this playmaker, difference maker kind of corner that everyone. Look, he had 1 fantastic game. Since then, he's getting flagged for PIs. He's getting burned, and part of the reason why he's getting those PIs is because he's getting beat off. He's getting beat off the ball. He does. I think when you back him up in zone coverage and you play him 8 yards off the ball and you're going to play jump ball, I think that's where he shines, right? When you can afford to go strictly zone, he shines with that. But the minute you have to switch to man because you have to cover your secondary, you have to cover or you have to hide your coverage as best you can, and you go man defense, he's in trouble. And that's when every PI call he's had this year, I'm pretty sure it was in man coverage. And that's a disadvantage. I think that's part of the reason why they play so much zone, other than the fact that Catalon and I think him and Fouché and Hudson Clark are really good zone cover guys, but I think that's primarily, other than that, why they play so much zone, because they do have liabilities in the secondary when it comes to playing man coverage. I don't think Fouché is very good at man coverage. I've seen him man up a little bit and just get beat off the ball. And he's made mistakes in coverage as well. And like we said, Brooks made an error tonight as well. We had a lot of that. Secondary really looked completely out of place. And I look back, I look at Odom being on the field, not up in the box, not able to just corral his defense and stick to his defense. I really think had he been up in the box, Florida doesn't score 60 points. Had he been up in the box, I don't know if they score 50 points. I'm calling it like it is. They still would have won, probably still would have beat the spread, but they wouldn't have had 63 points. Odom needs to be up in the box. Yes, he was a head coach. I get that. Yes, he has experience, but that's not the point. You're one guy less on the staff, and he had to fill that void. He had to fill the role of a head coach. I mean, you remember when Reggie Herring had to fill in for Houston Nutt? What bowl game was that? It was when they played Mizzou, and Mizzou beat the crap out of Arkansas. Arkansas's defense didn't look the same. Of course, they were playing a pretty good Mizzou team that year. What was that? What bowl was that? God, how old am I? But they didn't look the same. And Reggie Herring had to call. That's kind of what tonight looked like. And not that Reggie Herring was a fantastic defense coordinator, but he did have a physical defense that didn't give up the kind of plays that they gave up to Mizzou in that game. This game kind of resembled that a little bit, kind of reminded me of that, obviously with the same situation, being your defense coordinator playing the role of the head coach. That's a problem. Fortunately, I think they get Sam Pittman back this weekend. Time of possession was another thing. Florida just ate up the clock. They had 38 minutes to Arkansas's 21 minutes. In the first half, I think they had the ball like 70% of the time. I'm impressed that Arkansas is getting things put together on offense. Again, Florida's not good on defense. It's kind of hard to judge based on what we saw tonight. You also had the makeup points there towards the end with KJ. But still, again, I like what I saw of the offense, other than pass blocking. If they're pass blocking just a little bit better, I mean, let's be honest, a lot better, maybe you put up 40. Maybe you kind of make this a game. But the pass blocking was terrible. Pass blocking was just atrocious. And Dan Mullens is an asshole. Okay. I did it again. How many times is that? 3 times? Let's read chat. We'll beat LSU easy, says Little Rock 501. Ty, did you see KJ lower his shoulder and fall forward 3 yards, unlike diving into the ground? And that is the difference with him and Felipe Franks. Felipe Franks doesn't know how to slide. He's kind of goofy when he runs. Look, he can run and be a threat. He's not going to pick up 20 yards, 15 yards, but he could pick up 6 or 7 yards off a run. And if the entire defense is backed off into coverage, he could pick up double-digit yardage on the ground. But KJ's a little bit more athletic, healthier. He obviously doesn't have the bum legs like Felipe Franks does. That obviously is a factor for Franks. I'm not going to sit here and tell you. I know there's a war of words about Hornsby versus KJ, and I'm not getting into that. But clearly the staff likes KJ more, and we saw him tonight come in, didn't turn the ball over, and he managed to go get a tutty. I'm not hating on KJ. Maybe Malik turns it around in the offseason. Well, I shouldn't say turn it around, but maybe he gets it going and passes KJ. I don't know. I like KJ's poise for the most part. He did hold on to the ball there, and I think that play resulted in the sack. At that point, I was looking at my phone, texting people, and dealing with DMs and people that were pissed off in my DMs, and trying to keep up with Discord. But again, he shouldn't let that happen. But you know what, Felipe Franks does the same. I'm hoping throughout the year we figure something out on the offensive line. They went from being okay at pass blocking to they're just terrible at pass blocking right now. Again, you're talking about Florida, who's played one less game, and they're like top 4 in the SEC in sacks. They're aggressive. They're going to come after you. I really thought the veer and shoot and veer, I've heard it called so many different things. That offense is an advantage against this kind of defense. It allows you, especially if you've got a quarterback who can run the ball. And Philippe, let's just be honest, he's not a legitimate threat when running the ball, when running the RPO, when trying to get him out of the box and just running the ball downfield. You're not super comfortable with him doing that. If he doesn't fall on his own, then I don't know. He just doesn't have that burst. He doesn't have that speed. I think KJ's a little bit faster. Malik is obviously much faster. I hope as the year goes on they just need to get something figured out with this pass block, and they need to get it situated. Maybe this is the best they can do. I think talent is a problem up front on the offensive line outside of one player, Ricky Stromberg. Which did he play tonight? I wasn't even paying attention to the offensive line as far as personnel. I know him and Clary got into a battle there in the middle of the year or a couple of weeks ago, and Clary took his spot, and then Ricky kind of moved around a little bit. I did not pay attention to the personnel on the offensive line tonight. Hang on. You can't ignore these too long. Did Ricky play tonight on the offensive line? Wagner on O-line, right tackle, got his ass ate up tonight. You didn't want to say it, Mrs. Grolov. I'll do it for you. You got his ass ate up. He played at center. Okay. All right. He played at center. He did have the false start. That's right. He did. You're right about that. Ty, yes, Stromberg did play but did not play well. His blocking was meh. And this is what's crazy. I mean, he's been your best blocker on the offensive line for the most part this year, and I think part of their concern was once again his snaps were coming down or they're going too high. Someone in the media had mentioned that his snaps were getting a little too high for Kendall Bryle's liking, and that was one of the reasons why he was getting into that battle with Clary. But Ty Clary, who wasn't much better of a snapper anyway, so maybe Kendall saw something in practice. Maybe Clary got that improved, but now Ricky's back out there, so I don't know. See, Ty, you wouldn't have had to shave. What did I have to gain? What did I have to gain, Mike? What was I going to gain? Joshua Michael, besides Woods, these receivers got to do better at getting open. Again, Felipe Franks had a lot of pressure. And when you don't have time to go through your progressions, there was at least 2 plays where Burks was open that I saw. When you don't have but a second and a half to get rid of the ball, it's really hard to go through your progressions. It's really hard to go through all your reads. Malik has track speed. He goes over 100 yards tonight against this Florida defense. I don't know about that. And again, they did give up a lot of rushing yards, though. They gave up 200 rushing yards. Something else I was going to say. They, against Georgia, 571 yards. They only had 97 yards rushing against Georgia. They had over 200 against Arkansas tonight. Again, Arkansas's run defense, that's the problem on defense that you're going to have to deal with. You can kind of hide your issues in the secondary. Barry Odom's done a pretty good job of that this year. I think the jury's out on Hudson Clark. I don't know if he's a freshman, first off. We need to remember that. He is a freshman after all. And I'm always going to stick up. I don't care if you're a true or redshirt freshman. This is your first real opportunity at playing at this level. You're going to make mistakes. But Barry Odom has done a really good job of kind of hiding some of that. They had 593 total yards. We already talked about that. 1 turnover each, so you were dead zero on the turnover battle. That's not bad. Grimes is he's that dude, man. Grimes is that guy. 6 catches, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. Henderson had a touchdown tonight. Zippier had 2 touchdowns. I mean, they had 2 guys with 7 total touchdowns through the air. Yeah, because Emory Jones came in, who was a highly rated prospect. I like how the entire game, all they talked about was Kyle Trask, which some of that's understandable because this guy is a Heisman candidate, okay? Him and that Bama quarterback are legit. I get that they're going to focus on him a little bit or a lot. I understand that. It was a love fest, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure Kyle Trask needs to take these guys out to dinner. Or Dan Mullens, or they talked more about the backup quarterback, I felt like, than they did Felipe Franks, who was 15 of 19. On 15 completions, had 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, 13 yards average per completion. Traylon Smith, that run, the longest run from line of scrimmage. That's the longest play from line of scrimmage this year for Arkansas, 83 yards. So he had 118 yards on 8 carries. So my position on Rakeem Boyd is this. I've been defending him. I've been saying all year he has, and I think he has for the most part when he was, at least when he was healthy anyways, when he was 100%, looked like the better back. He's more of a powerful back than Traylon. And I thought in the second half he came out and he looked a lot better. The first half he just did not. He wasn't hitting the holes at 100%. He wasn't. It's not like he was shot out of a cannon like we were used to seeing a year ago. And then he came out in the second half and looked great. I think in the second half, for most of the third quarter, he averaged like 7 yards a carry or something. I mean, he was shot out of a cannon. That was the old Rakeem Boyd. Then of course he fumbled the damn ball. But I think now I'm on board with Traylon being 1A, being running back 1, RB1. Boyd is he's just Traylon's playing better. It's not so much what Rakeem isn't doing. When you look at this game, when you scale back and look at the whole picture, it's not so much what he wasn't doing. I mean, there was definitely, again, that first half. I just thought I was just thinking, man, this guy, they're going to have to bench him. They're going to have to play Traylon. But then you go back to the second half, you start to pick it up a little bit. So, but it's more about what Traylon. I mean, my God, 83-yard run from line of scrimmage. Before that, he was still averaging like 7 yards a carry, 6.5 yards a carry. He ends the night, again, 118 yards on 8 carries, 15 yards. Now you have to add in with not only is he good out of the backfield catching the ball, although they didn't throw the ball a lot to him. I don't think he caught it. Did he catch a single ball tonight? No. Yeah, he did, 1 for 8. But not only does he have that dynamic to his game, but he's capable of making big plays. And he did that. I mean, he showed that. And I've always thought, yeah, he's capable of doing that, but so is Rakeem, on top of the fact that Rakeem is more of an every down kind of back. Rakeem made a pretty good play there. Was it the third quarter where he got the call right in between the center and guard? The play's clogged up, and then he steps to the side and bolts up in between. He now is going in between the tackle and the guard. There's a slight gap, and he scores. That's Rakeem Boyd circa 2019. And I thought really in the second half, other than that fumble, he did pretty well. And he got a touchdown. Both these guys did. I'm okay with playing them both. Like I said Friday night, I'd like to see them both on the field at the same time more often because both of them, it is truly thunder and lightning. One has multiple dynamics to his game. The other one can kind of split tackles or can run through tackles, a little bit more power behind him. Should be good if you had better blocking in between the tackles. Would be a great 5-6 yard line go-to guy in the red zone trying to score. Should be that guy, but unfortunately the offensive line has just been so hit or miss this year. How about TJ Hammonds? He had a carry tonight for positive yardage, 9 yards. And KJ ends the night with 3 carries, 8 yards, and a touchdown. So that was really good to see. I got to admit, Trask is a legit Heisman candidate. He ripped them to shreds. He absolutely ripped them to shreds. Yeah, 63-35 is clearly that was the score. That was the final score. How did Kern go down that easy, like really more weight, but can't make a first down? Well, I mean, it's a good tackle. Go back and watch that. That's form tackling. That was a good play by the defender. You can't fault Kern on that. Just because you're big doesn't mean you're going to be stopped. You could be stopped. I feel bad for Boyd. He's got to either come back, transfer, or declared last year because he won't get drafted this year. You can't say we don't have the blocking because the other back is running circles. Yeah, you can say you don't have blocking because half of his carries tonight, go back and watch, man. There's no gap. There's nowhere to run through. Traylon, again, has that advantage to bounce outside. He's slippery enough that he could slip through tackles. That's his advantage, and that's why he's got to be running back 1 right now. Did you watch the game? I mean, Felipe Franks is getting pressured every down. The offensive line deserves like a D- tonight. I mean, I thought they were terrible. Traylon, if you go back and watch Traylon's run, it looked like a tight end flipped out the backer. Bach just completely knocked him out, and the gap was wide open. That was good. It's nice that you have a couple of gaps in a game and that you've got a running back who could take advantage of that. But that didn't happen enough, and it hasn't happened enough this year. It's just go back and watch. There's no push up front. I'm not the only one saying this. They've got to get better. The offensive line has underperformed vastly this year. I've been saying for most part, first few games, pass blocking was decent, and they're regressing. Now, part of that's who you play. Florida's just aggressive. They're going to come after the quarterback. I figured Franks would get sacked. I figured he'd get some pressure. I think we all knew that was coming, but it was too much. It was like every time he dropped back. And again, part of me wonders, I get why you play your starters. These guys don't quit. That's something to be admired. But part of me also was like, look, if you keep him in this game, he could get hurt. He is vulnerable below the knee. Maybe you should have benched him a little sooner. You saw Devion Warren go down. Maybe I don't know the severity of his injury. Maybe they should have put KJ in a little bit sooner, but at the same time, I get why they didn't. Treylon should be RB1. He just has been that much better running back this season, and to me, that's not debatable. For most of the year, there's been at least a game where he was outperformed. It went bad when we didn't go for it on 4th and 1. Yeah, I thought the same thing. And the mistakes tonight, the penalties were just absurd. This is not a team that gets penalized like they did tonight. 9 penalties for 79 yards. Guys, they averaged 34 yards a game in penalties. That's great. That's the best in the SEC. They had 9 tonight for 75. Meanwhile, Florida's holding every other damn play, and they have 3 penalties for 35 yards. I'm sorry. I know holding happens a lot. I get it. Home team's going to get home cooking. I've not griped about the officiating other than one game this year. We all know the one. But I haven't complained about officiating. There were a lot of missed hold calls on Florida. And I thought, and most of the time you've heard me say I think the officiating was okay. It was all right. It wasn't that bad tonight. Tonight it was not good. I'm not saying it's like LSU basketball bad or Auburn bad this year. Good Lord, the blocks were just as good as touring around and saying, "Look out, he's coming." Heads up. Did Warren get injured? He did on a kick return. He got hurt. I don't know the severity. He needed help getting up, so he did get hurt. Screw Auburn and Chad Morris. It's the Ciroc talking again. Do you mean to say cigar? What's Ciroc? I feel like I'd be a good special teams coach, and I do it for half the money. My first season, we're going to learn how to kick straight today. Yeah, kickoff. You had another penalty on special teams. How many did they had 2 penalties tonight on special teams? They had a kick return that got called for holding and kicking out of bounds. I'm telling you guys, they're not doing better on special teams. They had 1 punt behind the 20. Oh my gosh! Alert the media. They had 1 punt tonight behind the 20. That's the highlight of the year for special teams so far. They're garbage. Special teams is garbage this year. They are not reliable. I'm nervous every time they get on the field, even on kickoffs. I don't know how. Well, I know how we haven't given up a kickoff for a touchdown because we're too busy kicking the damn ball out of bounds. How many times have they done that this year? What is that, the 4th time? Do we lead the league in kickoffs going out of bounds? What is going on special teams? I told you guys 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine said, we need to hire a special teams coach. We have one. He's paid $450,000 a year, according to Wiki. Quit bitching, says James Whittington. James, you must be new to the show, brother. When Arkansas loses, what are you supposed to do, James? Hold on. Warren was pretty good on returns. I think he had 1 really good return. I think he got it out above the or out in front of the 35. Most people predicted 0 wins. And? Are we just – hang on a second, James. Oh, they did so good tonight, you guys. Oh, special teams was superb. Secondary, they were never lost in coverage tonight. They were never lost, guys. They played so great. That's what I'm going to do here. We're just going to kiss the asses of the Razorbacks. We're not going to be skeptical at all. Come on, man. Let's forget about football for a second and remember basketball season is coming up. We look like we will be a top 20 team this season. Well, yeah. The women are ranked top 15. Basketball is going to be exciting. We have no defense. I'm not going to go that far. No, they have a defense. Again, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you had Barry Odom on the sidelines. He wasn't able. I don't think he was able to really grab a hold of the defense, corral his guys, and do his thing. I think there's a reason why they were as bad as they were tonight. Also, Florida is just that much better. I mean, they have the talent. They're clearly racked up with 4- and 5-star talent. They're clearly stacked. When one guy goes down, the next guy up is going to be a former high school All-American, Florida All-State player. That's what they have. Snowflake. Anthony, who's a snowflake? Don't call James a snowflake. That's not polite. Didn't get a chance to see the game. Is Knox still hurt? I don't know what was up with Knox. I still don't know. I don't know if that's the issue or not. Florida is good. Florida's good. Florida's very good. I think, like I said, they're probably the second best team in the league. And you're going to give up those points. You're going to give up those yards. I don't really have an issue with giving up what they did tonight. For the most part, even there were times when Florida just made the play when they had the matchup they wanted, and a Razorback was in position to make a play on the ball. That touchdown on Catalan. Catalan is 6 feet tall, and the receiver that was matched up on is 6'5". Stretches out and makes a great play. You got to give Florida all the credit in the world. They looked really good tonight. 260-pound Kern got stopped in his tracks tonight by a 190-pound defensive back. Yeah, this is a good tackle. I might disagree. And say they are the best in the SEC. I don't think they're better than Bama. I think Bama beats Florida. Bama's defense hasn't been as good this year, but I think they're better than Florida. Bama's offense is legit. They've got some playmakers. They did lose a big-time receiver, and they're still crack-a-lacking. They're still looking really good. Ty, we're going to be all right. Next game we play better next game. Florida played us on rookie mode. Sliders all the way up. Trask is legit, but those announcers are definitely subscribed to his OnlyFans. Oh, subscribe to the OnlyFans. They certainly were. I agree. What's 5 inches between friends? Oh, man. Bama crushes Florida. I agree. I think Bama wins that game. I think what I've seen, even without their star receiver, they are good. That quarterback is good. Bama's legit. They're both good. I think Bama's just a little bit better on defense. Bama's a little bit better at creating turnovers, although I think Florida on the year's done okay in that department. Florida's pretty aggressive. They like to come after the quarterback, and they'll get sacks. That might be the area where they have Bama. I don't know. If tomorrow, if they played, I'd put my money on Bama, but who knows by the end of the year. Yeah, I think Trask had more camera time than the game in the fourth quarter. He did. I swear to God, they were just fixated on him, weren't they? Kyle Trask looks like he will win the Heisman this season. He very well could. He was impressive. Woods had an outstanding game. 2 catches in all those yards on 2 catches. When is Pittman back? I think he's back next week. I think he's going to be good to go next week. Hey, big guy. I'm proud of the Hogs. Franks played his heart out. He did, and that's what's crazy. Franks didn't have a terrible game. He just never had a clean pocket. Offensive play calling and offensive line, got to fix it. Bryle's got to figure it out. The crazy thing is about the play calling, I don't think it was terrible. I think this was probably one of the better games called. There were some, don't get me wrong, there were times that 4th and 1 not going for it. There were a couple of times tonight where I didn't like the call necessarily, but I think overall this is probably one of the best games they called. I'll take that. I'll take it. Anthony White says Wednesday. Is that when Sam Pittman's allowed back on the field? You're probably right on that. I don't know. I have no idea. I figured he'd have to sit out until Friday or something, or even miss the second week. Right? Didn't what's his name at Clemson have to sit out for 2 weeks? Ty, if Pittman were there, do you think it would have mattered? So, like I said on the Facebook halftime show on the Hog Talk podcast, and what I said earlier, Pittman not being on the sidelines prevents Barry Odom from being up in the box. Barry Odom now, instead of dealing with just the defense exclusively like he's done all year, he's not at his best. His attention isn't just on the defense. I think that matters. I think that's why we didn't see any adjustments. We've seen at times this year quarter-to-quarter adjustments, not just second-half adjustments, but quarter-to-quarter, whether that's going with a 3-front, 4-front, stacking 6 in the box, 7 in the box, guys dropping back in coverage, disguising coverage. And they did disguise covers a lot tonight. They did switch quite a bit from zone to man, and we kind of saw the safeties play over the top, and they went out and played outside in the boundaries a little bit. We saw some motion and movement and some different things here and there, but there just didn't seem to be any substantial changes on defense. Again, Florida didn't look like they had to change their game plan much at all. I mean, they ran the ball heavy, and then we all saw this coming. They're going to run the ball heavy. They're going to establish the run because you can do that to Arkansas's defense. Arkansas's run defense is garbage. It's hot, flaming garbage right now. They got to get that fixed, and hopefully they'll do that next year during the offseason. But you saw them run it, and then they opened it up and threw the ball. They utilized play fake. They utilized play action, and it was really good. It was a good called game for Florida. Dan Mullens is still an asshole. Oh, got a drink. Got to take a sip. I don't. Arkansas wouldn't have won regardless. Florida is that much better. I don't even think you cover the spread, so probably doesn't really matter, but I do think maybe you could have put up some more points. I don't know. Maybe you could have gotten another takeaway. That little change of him not being up in the box and having exclusivity to his defense matters. That does have an impact, I think. It was underplayed by ESPN. Again, they were so focused. They were so focused on Trask. They didn't really talk about anything Arkansas. I was surprised they even bragged on KJ. It took a touchdown for them to do that. Okay, that's fine. It's understandable. But they were so hyper-focused on Trask and Florida and Dan Mullens and this offense and the backup being this highly rated player. He was the highest-rated player Dan Mullens has ever recruited. He's at Florida. No shit. They're going to bring big-time players. Like, they're over here acting surprised. Like, oh, wow, Florida got this highly rated player. Good for Dan Mullens. Highest-rated player ever recruited. That's one thing if you're at Mississippi State and that happens. You're at Florida. What the hell are you talking about? You're at Florida. Of course you're going to bring in big-time prospects at Florida. My God, you walk out your front door and there's a 5-star right at your front gates. I don't understand why they were so hyper-focused on the fact that kid was so highly recruited. You could have gone on. Oh, yeah, he's a highly rated player. Good for him. He's on the field. Okay. No, man. And KJ comes in, gets a score. Oh, yeah, that guy. Anyways, back to Florida. It is what it is. We missed a wide-open touchdown, so I say 42-63. Oh. You guys here, Trask didn't start in high school. Did he not? I didn't know that. He wasn't super highly recruited, if I remember right. I don't think he was. Ty, Arkansas will take the boot back next week. Brennan has confirmed to be out for the remainder of the season, and their backup isn't that good. If we can't beat Bo Pelini, I will riot. I would almost shave my beard off if they didn't beat Bo Pelini. Their defense is worse than Florida's. They struggle getting off the field. I'm not going to say I think LSU is going to be a tougher matchup than people realize. Of course, I'll get into that breakdown at the end of next week. He was a 3-star recruit. Yeah, that's right. He was a 3-star recruit. Yeah. Trask went to school with Tariq King in high school. That's why he didn't start. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. We got some guys that are on message boards in here. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Michigan, 3 consecutive losses. Yeah. Indiana, undefeated. Penn State, 0-4. 0-4 ski. What's going on there? So y'all are going to hate if I beg my Patriots to tank for Trask? Well, let me scroll up here just a second. Ty, doing your job. Oh, try doing your job and your boss's job in anything, and there will be a difference. Yeah, that's the point that I'm making, Jacob. Exactly. Thank you. Scrolling up here. Scrolling up. Mark Douglas says, seems like our passing game doesn't have a check down. It's either first option, stared down, a sack, or the indecision to tuck and run. And again, this is what's confusing about not utilizing the tight end even more. Kern has been open this year. I don't know what's up with Hudson Henry. Did he play at all? That's another guy I didn't see out on the field, or if I did, if he was out there, he wasn't out there much. Kern, I wish he was a little faster. I mean, he's like an athletic tackle. When he catches the ball, it's like me trying to run the ball. People already in my Discord think that we're related or that I am Kern. I can assure you I'm not related to Kern. But I'm surprised they don't sneak out a running back, off a check down throw. And you're right, Mark. It's like if that first option isn't open, Felipe Franks is either going to get sacked or he's going to run around in the pocket like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to find a gap to run through to maybe get out in the flats and possibly throw the ball. And, he's at his best, really, when a play design is set up for him to get out in the flat and just throw the ball on the run. He is at his best out of the pocket when he actually tries to throw the ball. When he's not determined to just get out of the pocket and go upfield, when he actually steps back, looks for a target, and throws, that's when this offense clicks. Again, they need to stay tempo. I said it at halftime. I said it Friday night. They are at their best when they're going high tempo. Boom, boom, boom. That wasn't consistent tonight. I don't know why they don't design more plays for Franks to roll out, bootleg, whatever. Get him out of the pocket. Let him run, have receivers run drag routes, hitches, quick slants over the middle. I don't know why that's not in this offense. Burks was underutilized tonight. I don't know if there was something going on with him. There's a lot of things that we can kind of point at and say what was the deal. And I think at the end of the day, they understood that, wait, we can't because Florida's defense is so aggressive, and we don't have guys that can get open within under a second. We don't have guys that can run routes and be open in a second and a half. We don't have those players yet. Burks is dealing with double coverage or really tight coverage, and then everyone else is just struggling to get open. Someone mentioned in chat, receivers got to do a better job of getting open, and I agree. There were a couple times tonight where I felt like a receiver was open, and had Franks had he been able to go through his reads, could have hit some more open targets. But again, Florida wanted to make him uncomfortable, and they did. They succeeded in that. Luckily for Arkansas, the run game got going. The run game has come around. That's been the improvement this year that we've wanted, right? Get the run game going. They've got it going. Now pass blocking needs to step up. If these things happen, if pass blocking gets better, if they improve, and they need to take a really big step in the right direction up front, and they continue with that momentum and that high speed, high tempo, snap the ball, complete the play, line up in the line of scrimmage, go. If they do that, there's going to be more success. You're going to have more nights like tonight against teams aren't as good. And guess what? You're going to come away with wins because your defense is good enough to get takeaways. Your defense is good enough. They got one tonight. Catalan with another pick. Catalan is that dude, man. I mean, if he's not all SEC, if he's not an all SEC freshman defensive player at the end of the year, if he doesn't make that, or even at least third team all SEC defense, I might riot down in Atlanta. Or at least write some angry tweets at Greg Sankey in the SEC. Kind of like what I did tonight with Dan Mullens. But, yeah, they've got a lot of work to do on offense, but yet it's like these are things that are fixable. And, look, you've got 2 winnable games left, LSU, Mizzou, Bama. I'm telling you, I do not like Arkansas's odds. I think we're all on the same page with that. They got a ways to go before you can say they can match up with teams that are high-powered on offense like like Florida and Bama. I think A&M probably is the third best team in the league. Arkansas probably slips. They're probably going to put Arkansas back a little bit, even though you had half the league not play tonight, or more than half the league not play tonight. They do these power rankings. I'm sure Arkansas is going to slide down. They gave up a lot of points. It was too easy for Florida on offense. Again, I think some of that has to do with the fact that Odom was on the sidelines and not up in the box, concentrating on his defense. I think our defense would have been better. Maybe we cover, but Florida's good, y'all, says Joshua Michael. I agree. Let me piss off some people real quick. We need Franks back next season and let KJ Malik marinate a bit longer. I don't know if that happens. I don't know if he comes back. Let me go down here. Ty Chad Morris' career is like the new MGK. Who's MGK? Is that a rapper? I only listen to like Post Malone of the new generation of rappers. I don't really like anything else. Post Malone's like it. I'm old school, man. Dre, Chronic, 2001, old Eminem, Wu-Tang. Just not really into these new guys. Rap God by Eminem is just like, oh my God, that's so great. It's so great. But I like all music. You guys know, my Apple Music, I've got classic rock, Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, ZZ Top, AC/DC. And then I've got like the new metal, Korn, Slipknot. Then I've got hip hop. Right? I mean, we talked about this. I've just got a very wide variety of music that I like. Country's just not it, though. I'm not a big country guy. I know that offends people. Win the next two, finish 5-5. It is entirely possible, Brett. Pittman is a miracle worker. Just get the ones you can get. The Gators were too damn fast on defense. We're a work in progress. Give Ty the automatic like people. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, if you guys want to like the video, I'd appreciate that. I didn't ask y'all to do that, did I? If you guys would like the video, share the content. What are we coming up on? Hour? Wow, we're over an hour. That went by fast. It's realistic. Is this realistic? Bama 63, Florida 60. It's Big 12 football. Defense it's going the way of the dodo bird, man. Nobody can figure out these high-tempo RPO offenses. It's just, if I'm being honest, I don't really like that kind of offense. I'm old school. I like lining up the ball out of the I formation and running it down your gut. Play action, maybe shotgun every once in a while, 3 wide. Or Petrino with that pro-style kind of, not spread, but pro-style offense where you're shotgunning and you're throwing the ball around and draws and screens and crossing routes left and right. I like Petrino's style. I like Brett Bielema's style. Obviously, Brett Bielema didn't work out. I'm not a big fan of these RPO, but it's just the way things are these days. It's what I think the RPO and the high tempo. It's taken over so much in college and high school. It's just the new norm. It's what the I formation was, or offset I formation was 30, 40 years ago, right? And then you had people come along, like the Niners introduced the West Coast offense, and it changed the way offense was looked at forever. Mike Martz took it to the Rams, and you saw what they did. Greatest show on turf. You have these every 10, 15 years, the kind of evolution of the game. I do miss, maybe it's because, that's my generation of football. It was a lot, that's been really the heart and soul of football for years. Line up, try to stop me, right? It's not that way anymore. A lot of misdirect, counter reads, RPO, high tempo. That's the name of the game. Kern makes me miss Tritola. Oh, Tritola shot his leg on Dixon Street. I miss that type of offense. It's how you ran the clock. Yeah. You also can't hit anyone anymore. That's true to an extent. Targeting is the right call. That call on Catalan against A&M was the right call. I know some people don't agree with that. I don't, however, agree that you kick a player out for an entire game. I don't agree with that at all. But you got to be smarter than that. Anybody who played football knows you do not. When you're on defense and you're going to smack a guy, you don't lower your helmet. You don't do that. Chad Moore's career is like the new MGK album. Tickets to my – I don't know what that is, Solo. Is that Machine Gun Kelly? Is that who that is? No. That's not Machine Gun Kelly. Catalan still hits like a truck. That dude's a beast. Catalan, he blows you up, man. Hey, big guy, great show. And let's get him next week. I agree. You also you like Shinedown. Never was a big Shinedown guy. Never was. That's Shinedown was Creed, right? Like they just basically replaced Scott Stapp. I mean, they're okay. What's the lead guitar player? Chris Tremonti. That dude's a great guitar player. They're really a good band. I just wasn't the biggest. What's funny is in the 90s, Creed, remember, Creed, right? Before Nickelback, right around the time of Nickelback, Limp Bizkit. Now you look back on these bands, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I liked them. Why they was talking shit to Franks. If you're asking about the booing, I did hear some booing. I don't know what that was about. I was a little surprised by that. We expected to see more than one game like this in the first year. Hog's years are coming. MGK is Machine Gun Kelly. Yeah. Why they triple option or nothing. Remember Wishbone and all this. That's insulting to Shinedown. Tremonti made Creed not. Well, no, I never said that. I never said Scott Stapp made Creed. Slow your roll, okay? I never said that. Yes, Machine Gun Kelly. I love Coldplay. Coldplay is so depressing. Coldplay's good. I like Coldplay. Yeah. Okay. The flex bone. We welcome Sammy Pitt with open arms, wide open under the hog light. That's right. Even though tonight there's plenty to kind of bitch about and gripe, and we had people on Twitter calling each other snowflakes and someone telling me to quit bitching. It's almost like he's never been to this show before. That's what we do here, man. It's not always sunshine and butterflies and unicorns. I mean, you've got to be critical of the things that need to get right, and that's what I do here. I mean, it's what Hog Talk does. It's what they do on the postgame show on radio. Stop bitching. Well, then get out of chat, broski. The ham bone. Pearl Jam. Never was a big Pearl Jam guy. Never was. That guy's voice annoys me. Like one good song. I'll tell you what I've been listening to a lot lately is the MTV Unplugged. Like the Nirvana album, to me, is still the greatest Unplugged. It's so good. I've just been listening. And I like Nirvana. I really like Nirvana. Ty, he's a hater. I know. Tool, Maynard James Keenan is the man. The point of this show. The point of this show is bitching. I mean, thank you, Gavin. Thank you. Zach Brown band is pretty good. LSU game is at noon. It is. I thought it was 11. Is it not at 11? So we're going to break that game down, obviously, at the end of the week. Yeah, it's 11 a.m. here, Central. That's odd. It says LSU versus LSU on ESPN's front page. LSU is favored right now. Football Power Index at 66%, even though it's in Fayetteville. And LSU's, well, I mean, are they going to be ready for this game? I don't know. They still put up a lot of yards on offense, but their defense is so bad. Almost 480 yards allowed per game. Now, after this game, Arkansas's yards per game is going to go way up. But they give up 335 yards per game. That has got to be the worst in college football right now. They give up almost 145 yards a game on the ground. Arkansas's given up 179. So LSU, on offense, I mean, look, they're 36 points a game. And that's what you've got to be a little bit concerned about. But then they give up almost 34. So there's a lot there to consider with LSU, especially to bitch about the refs. Never did like Papa Roach. The one song, Cut My Life into Pieces. That's great. I mean, who doesn't like that, right? Catalan's strong. I agree. He is. I want them to beat LSU so bad. LSU and Mizzou. I don't know who I want them to beat more. Mizzou is Mizzou has no business having this win streak on the Hogs. I don't care how bad Chad Morris was. LSU was awful last year, and I was so hoping Bear Learning could pull that dub out of Little Rock against Mizzou. I hate that school. I don't think it's a rivalry, but I just hate Mizzou because of this. Their fans. I'm not even gonna get started. I'm just I'm gonna leave it for next week. How about that? When in the Sam Blanken Pittman is Arkansas going to be favored in any game? shit, they would pick Vandy to beat us. Yeah, your Arkansas is looked. I don't think they're even favored to beat Mizzou right now, according to their FPI. Come on, let it load. Come on, ESPN. Yeah, Mizzou is favored right now, 52, almost 53%. I don't know. Mizzou fans suck ass. Tie the backups. We'll see the field next Saturday. I hope you're right. Their defense. I'm telling you, man, LSU's defense is so bad. Mizzou will never be our true rival. They won't, and it's a manufactured rivalry. Nobody cares about that stupid trophy. I mean, yeah, it's nice to put it in your closet. And right now, somehow, Mizzou's won it more than Arkansas. Well, I say somehow. We know how. Arkansas has been awful. I was at the game tonight. Oh, okay. UPS is giving everyone that went to the game one free year delivery. What? Good for the next 48 hours only because the Hogs got over 50 yards in penalty. Really? For real? Is that for only people that went to the game, Thomas? I want to give you a second to return or to reply before I log out here. Is that for anybody or is that for just people? Okay, there you have it. Wow. Franks is injured. Okay. Is he? I don't know. Ty, let me get a head start on next week. If we win, Ty doesn't have to shave his beard. If we lose, Ty doesn't have to shave his beard. Thank you. I appreciate that, Alex. Thank you so much. All right. Remember to like, subscribe, all that stuff if you guys haven't already. I know a lot of you already have. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. To the Patreon supporters, thank you guys so much. Unfortunately, didn't go Arkansas's way tonight. Nobody should really be shocked. Florida's just, they've got the manpower. They've got the depth. They've got the talent. They're not introducing a new everything like Arkansas is. And it was at their home, and their crowd was pretty good. I was impressed with their crowd. It sounded like 50,000, 60,000 people in those stands at some points in the game. I heard a lot. There's a lot of cheering for them tonight. Disappointed defensive effort, disappointed in the offensive line. Pass blocking was just not good, but there is a bright side. The run game, they just look better each week. I think they're going to look great next week, and I think they're going to look good against Mizzou, and they might even have a game against, I don't know. Actually, I don't know much about Bama's run game right now, their run defense, but the rushing offense is coming together. Offense is coming together. They're starting to get better. They're putting up more yards. They're getting points. We're getting production. They're starting to get in rhythm. Not as consistently as we would all like, but they're starting to get it figured out on the offensive side of the ball. Like I said, go fast. They can't slow down. You cannot interrupt yourself with these stupid ass penalties. So, yeah. And Dan Mullens is an asshole. All right, woo pig suey. I will see you guys. Oh, by the way, yeah, Patreon supporters, thank you. Subscribe if you haven't already, and also check out the Hog Talk podcast links. New podcast will be available for you guys on Monday morning at 6 o'clock. So they'll have their reactions to this game. Then I'll be obviously the Friday show is the one that I host. So you guys download those and rate and review the podcast if you haven't already. Okay. Woo pig suey. I will see you guys. The plan is to be live on Monday. So I'll see you then, hopefully. Woo pig.